Good evening, folks. I would like to welcome everyone on behalf of CHCorner Coimbatore chapter. Also, I would like to thank CHCorner Coimbatore chapter for providing us a marvelous opportunity to share our knowledge on SharePoint Framework. We are recording this event and we'll be sharing it after this session through CHCorner. Uh, I am Marut. Alongside with me, we have Jayakumar. We both are working as product engineers in Hubfly. Hubfly is a Coimbatore-based firm primarily developing an employee engagement platform built on top of SharePoint Online and Office 365. Hubfly is internet actively focused on digitally transforming workplaces. With a vision to put Coimbatore on the global SharePoint map, Hubfly is organizing the first ever SPS Coimbatore. SPS is a single day free SharePoint event which focuses on SharePoint and Office 365 development models and the new releases. We are very much excited to tell you that the globally renowned MVP Mark Anderson will be the keynote speaker. I hope most of you guys know Mark Anderson. Most of the SharePoint developers would have come across SP services, and yes, he's the one who created it. Hoping to see you all on January 5, 2019, the first ever SharePoint Saturday Coimbatore. I'll send you the link through chat after this session. If somebody is interested in to register as a speaker, please do so. Follow our Twitter accounts SPS Coimbatore and VR Hafly to get regular updates on the SPS event. Today our topic is getting started with the SharePoint framework. Let's get into the session right away. So here is our agenda. Today we're going to discuss about SharePoint overview, then SharePoint add-in models. Then we'll explain what is SharePoint framework or SPFX. Then the tool chain comparison between the existing model, the previous models and the SPFX. Then the SharePoint framework components. Then we'll get into the demo right away. Okay. So, what is SharePoint? I hope you all know what is SharePoint is. As you know, SharePoint is a web-based collaborative platform. SharePoint was launched as an on-premise product in 2001. So it is called as STS ADM, STS SharePoint Team Services 1.0. Microsoft has launched it with the name SharePoint Team Services. They have released a number of 2003, 7, 10, and 16, 19 versions and the online version of SharePoint. Then many features of SharePoint were written in C Sharp, and then they are compiled to DLLs and deployed on on-premises forms. This is what they have done in on-premises version. Then in on-prem, they didn't scale to the cloud where multiple tenants run side by side. So and then they have the JavaScript injection and SharePoint add-in model as the base development model. So this is the SharePoint development model history. So SharePoint was actually introduced in 2001. We have released SharePoint Portal Server 2003. It is based on SharePoint Team Services 2.0. Um, it is completely built on .NET Framework 2.0. They got server-side object model with that version, and then customizations, which is being as a developer, will be customizing the SharePoint form building. Those customizations are built and deployed in SharePoint form as a full trust application, and then we will be processing the manual deployment at the time in the 2003. Then in 2007, they have introduced form solutions through which we'll be globally deploying the applications. And again, that is a fully trusted application, fully trusted model. And we got SSOM, so-called server-side code, and the customization again is on full trust. And they have introduced plugin models in this 2000 version, which is a feature. Okay. Yeah, sure, sure. Is it okay now? Okay, from our end. Now it's fine. Okay, fine. Okay, thank you. Then, if you got any questions in between, so just give it, like post it in chat. We'll address it once after this session. Okay. Okay, in 2007, they have introduced a solution scheme like WSP files, which will be compiled through like the DLLs, and everything will be compiled as a package, and will be creating WSP files, and will be deploying it in the farm solution, in the farm as a solution. And they have also, SharePoint also has introduced SharePoint hosting from 2007, so we can host our applications through SharePoint as well. So from 2010, they have introduced sandbox solutions, so which can be deployed locally. So in 2010, SharePoint has introduced CSOM, which is client-side object model, and JSON, which is also a client-side object model, but which is built like JavaScript thing. And sandbox solution is like a partially trusted solution. Previously, we got fully trusted application. From 2010, we got partially trusted solution, which is the sandbox solution. So later on in 2013, SharePoint has introduced the REST APIs, then JS links, and two more development models, which is previously called as apps, and there was a little bit of confusion on the term apps. Then they have changed the name to add-ins. So we got SharePoint hosted add-ins and the provider hosted add-ins. SharePoint hosted add-ins are which is completely built on the client side codes like JavaScript things, and provider hosted, which will be hosted separately, and they'll be rendered under the SharePoint pages. So in 2016 and 2013, under the online version, SharePoint has introduced the new model called SharePoint Framework, through which we can create web parts, then extensions, and then there comes the modern experience. Previously we got classic experience. So from the SharePoint Online and SharePoint 2016 and 2019, we got modern experiences. So this is the SharePoint development model history. So the JavaScript injection, which is the first thing SharePoint has introduced, like it is a client. This is the script editors, which will be inside the SharePoint, like content editor web part and the script editor web parts are commonly called as JavaScript injections. We can just plainly paste our JavaScript code and execute the when the page renders. So it runs in the same browser, and it runs in the page context. So user will be running the code in the same context, like through their permission levels, and it is deployed in the same, like runs in the same DOM. So okay, I think someone has it. Okay, what is the cons of this JavaScript injection is the configuration options can't easily be provided for this JavaScript injections, and the uh, the users who have enough permissions to edit the page can always edit the page, and that could break the web parts as well. So I think everybody knows what is a SharePoint web part. That is what JavaScript injection means. It is a web part which runs as a block on the SharePoint page. So SharePoint script editor web parts are not safe for scripting. If we are running the browser in no script model, definitely this gonna fail. So the page won't render. So this is what the case in JavaScript injection, and then there comes our SharePoint add-in model, which has two things like provide SharePoint hosted add-in, then the provider hosted add-in. So SharePoint add-in hosted add-in has all client side stuff, JavaScript things, and when you deploy a SharePoint hosted add-in inside SharePoint, what it will do is it will generate a new child site. From there, the application will run through the iframe. So once you deploy the SharePoint add-in, it will be running separately in a separate web application, and it will be rendered into the page as an iframe. So this is how it works, and end users can install add-ins on no script sites as well. So the JavaScript injection has those limitations, like no script sites cannot be processed. And then one of the cons in the SharePoint add-in models is iframes are always slower than the script editor, but those JavaScript injections, which is performed along with the page, but in those add-in models, it requires additional request to the page which is being deployed, or it is separately deployed, and so we need another call from our regular SharePoint page to render these things. So it is very slow when compared to JavaScript injections, and it needs to process the authentication and authorization process. So it's always delays the processes. And then there comes SharePoint framework. So SharePoint framework is a new development model which is introduced by Microsoft on by February 2016, and this web part development model, it supports client side development, it supports the client development tools like npm, TypeScript, human, webpack, and gulp. So the no the development things like node.js dependent web development platforms are always supported in SharePoint framework. So it doesn't think only .NET developers can develop SharePoint framework. It is for it is very flexible, that any client side developers, like the front end developers, can also contribute to the SharePoint, like build the application through SharePoint framework. So it is very easy to integrate with SharePoint and Office 365 data. So we have provided with a lot of endpoints from SharePoint, like REST APIs, and we got CSAM model, and also we got Office graphs. Uh, Through that, we can always access SharePoint and Office 365 data as well. So these the SharePoint framework is available in both in cloud and on-prem. From 2016 on-premises, SharePoint framework is supported, and also SharePoint has now launched a 2019 version as well. So in that as well, on-prem version is supported. It runs in the current user context. We don't need any iframes for this. So if there is no iframe, definitely this gonna load faster than what the previous model runs. It will be very faster than the SharePoint add-in models. uh, Eventually, those iframe models, it's very difficult to perform those responsive stuffs, and it is not like a quite responsive friendly. We need to develop separate applications for the mobile. Sometimes this may happen. So SharePoint has introduced responsive SPS responsive as well for that. So in this SharePoint framework, it is running along with the SharePoint page. So we can provide the responsiveness, and the mobile ready application can be created using SharePoint framework, and there is no server side code involved. So we can always perform through client side codes. uh, that is not dependent on SharePoint, JavaScript injection. So the no script models, the no script won't affect SharePoint. Then Sorry, I couldn't get. Yeah, yeah. Okay. So tool chain comparison between the previous model and the SharePoint framework model is here. So previously we will have a .NET as our base platform. So here we have Node.js. Then through NuGet we can get the model like .NET packages, and we can perform things through that. And we need Visual Studio to develop. Visual Studio also got some SharePoint add-in extensions, so that we can create the applications very easily. So we need to we have C sharp as well. Like C sharp is the base coding thing through which we will be developing the apps in the previous models. And MS build uh, is like CLIs. So through that we can always compile those stuffs, and we can push the content to the respective SharePoint servers. So in the SharePoint framework, we got Node.js. SharePoint framework supports all the web development platforms which has the dependency in Node.js, like Knockout, then React, and Angular. Those stuffs can be built through. Those are all supported in SharePoint framework. So then npm packages, so we can always use existing npm packages, and we can build our own application. Then we need Visual Studio Code, or any code editor through which you can code the application. So we got human generator. What human generator is, it is a CLI, which is a open source client side scaffolding tool for web application. It helps in generating starter templates, like to initiate a SharePoint framework application. It is very helpful. So from the we got TypeScript. TypeScript is a open source thing which is created by Microsoft, and it is managed by Microsoft. So instead of C sharp we got TypeScript. So Gulp is used in performing the like building the application. Then packaging it can be performed to Gulp. So Gulp Webpack is mainly uh, helpful in pushing the application to CDNs and all those things. This is the Toolchain Comparison. Okay, so what we got in SharePoint framework is web parts and extensions. We can create web parts in the SharePoint extensions using SharePoint framework. And SharePoint web parts it is a control that are appear inside a SharePoint page but runs locally in the browser. So hope everybody knows what is web part. So you can create web parts using SharePoint framework. And SharePoint extensions. Like said, we got classic experience and the modern experience. In the classic experience, you could have built the master pages and so on stuffs, and through which you will be branding your own SharePoint portal. But in modern experience, you cannot do it right away. We need to perform site scripting, or site designs should be helpful in branding them. But to extend the branding to the next level, we need to know extensions. So through which you can extend your SharePoint modern experience, and you can get your own branding for your SharePoint portal. So you got three parts in this: application customizer. Application customizer adds script to the page and accesses well-known HTML elements and the placeholders, and extends them with custom rendering. So that's what is it. You can extend the header part, footer part with your own custom things. Like you can place your navigation bar or whatever you need. You can place your logo on left, and you can do whatever things using application customizer. So to field customizer, you can modify the list view, the fields which is used in creating the items. So you can customize those things. Then there comes command sets. So through command sets, uh, this helps in extending the SP command surfaces to add new actions. Like action buttons can be placed, and you can always code for that as well. So you can have something send now or send email buttons to perform a custom operation inside a SharePoint page. So these things can be performed using SharePoint framework components, and uh, so I'll hand over the session to Jayakumar, who will explain you how to create SharePoint framework web parts and so on.
Hello everyone. Thank you Arut, for setting up the context about what is SharePoint and what is framework. So to start with SharePoint framework development, we know it all these prerequisites to be addressed. So the first thing we'll be needing is an Office SharePoint development environment, so you can place our web part and just test it out. And the second is the app catalog for your SharePoint tenant, because it acts as like a play store for your SharePoint environment, so we can put all your apps, so from where you can uh, add it in your pages. It's just like a play store in your mobile for the SharePoint. So the next, again, the SharePoint framework supports all kind of development workstations like Windows or Mac or Linux, whatever it supports, because as it is a client-side development model, your clean text editor is enough to do the coding part of all these SharePoint development. So I just prefer to Visual Studio Code. So because as it matches with the Visual Studio, so you may don't feel any difficulties with Visual Studio Code. So it's the second thing is to set up a development environment. So basically the first we need Node.js. So make sure that you have installed the Node in your machine, and you have the code editor which is comfortable to use. So it's just as the basic code text editor is enough. Whatever like Visual Studio Code or Sublime or whatever is fine. Then we need to install the Human, Gulp, and the SharePoint generator, which all these combine help us to create the SharePoint project. And by default, it creates the project with all the dependency files that you want to create the project and deploy it. So all the above items will help only the first time setup. So the node, whatever the node or Human or Gulp, whatever the stuff, so you install, it's the one time installation. So the you don't need to worry about this once you have installed it in your machine. So the next, so let's directly go to the demo, how to create SharePoint framework. Yeah, we could do with classic UI also. Actually, we have built a product of itself on the classic, so we could do that's possible. Is that?
Yes, the SharePoint model is built on top of using React.js, I think. So we got a lot of things for React as well. We got this UI fabric and those stuff. So if you go through SharePoint development, like SharePoint framework, definitely SharePoint gonna prefer React, I think.
Yeah, else you can even include whatever the framework you want to add, because we have a special option called no JavaScript framework, so you won't get any predefined templates. You can add your own template. The reason with the preferably we are going with React is we have Office UI Fabric core, a lot of predefined templates available in React, so you can bring in the exact Office UI in your web part. So it won't you won't find any changes because we have predefined web parts over that, components of that.
Okay. So we got Office UI Fabric. So ready-made things are available for React. For Angular, I don't know about the knockout, but for Angular JS, we got few things for in Office UI Fabric, which replicates the existing modern UI of SharePoint. But for But for Angular 2 plus, we don't have any templates for that, so we can go with React to replicate the same things which are in modern UI. Okay. Okay.
Okay, let's jump into direct demo. So to, let me switch my screen. So to create the SharePoint webpart, you just need, just going to run the first command you at Microsoft SharePoint. So which going to create the project for us. So let's see how it works. So I'm just switching the directory so I can create a separate place for our webpart. So we can just create and deploy the SharePoint Framework webparts in just by running the simple 3 commands. So you can directly go live with your webpart by these few commands. Let me run the first command, so which create the project for us. You at Microsoft slash SharePoint. As I have already set up the environment in my machine, I'm just directly running this one. Sorry. Here I'm giving script install. Let me explain that. Yeah, Node.js it supports now. Previously, the SharePoint framework reports are supported up to 6.11 something. Now it supports up to 8.11.6. I think so. So it not supports beyond the 9 or 10. So preferably go with up to 8 version. So you can now the skip install. I'm just adding it to this command. So I will explain you at the end of this command why I'm just running this. So it just take few seconds. It support all latest version. I think it's TypeScript, not an issue. So let the solution, yeah. So let the solution name let it be the same, and I'm choosing the SharePoint Online. I'm just choosing the current folder. So this part allows us, if we enable it, so we can deploy the SharePoint framework efforts at tenant wise. So it will deploy all over the time. You don't need to go and install for the all each and every site collection. So I'm just yes. So here comes the SharePoint framework provides 2 components, webpart and extension. Now let's go with the webpart and see how it works. So webpart name, let it be the same, and description. So as someone else, the currently we SharePoint might provides React and Knock templates. If you want to integrate any other framework, we can choose no JavaScript framework. I'm just going with React as of now. That's it, just very few seconds. So that because I have skipped the node installation for this project, we can run it in the background. So parallelly in the we can check how the project structure is and how the stuffs are there. So let me install the node modules in the background. That's why I skip the install in the first step, skip install. So let's go for it. Maybe it will take 3 to 4 minutes based on your network speed. Here we go. So we have got our SharePoint framework webpart ready within a few seconds. So this is how the project works. The config, we have a lot of configs already available here, and this is our project. The webpart.ts file is the first file. First hit it will come, then from there it will go to this hello world.tx. So it is a separate component which is created to the project. So these are all the default welcome message created by human generator, SharePoint generator. So styles.hello, these are the styles which is coming from the SaaS default one. So you just no need to hard code your class names and all. You can the bundle, the SharePoint generator will create it for you, and when you bundle it, you will get a separate JavaScript file, TypeScript file for this, so you can access it in here like an like just accessing any other object. It's just an object based model. So now the share to connect with SharePoint, as we discussed already, we do have direct context available in this web part. So that comes with this context. So let me, let me create one more property over here. Yeah. So let's pass the SharePoint context to our component hello world, so the can once our node modules get installed, these errors will go away. Think it's taking time. Okay, I will switch. Let me switch to other application which I have already created because my network is slow. It's taking time. Okay, yes, correct. When we run the yo at Microsoft/SharePoint, these all these files will be created automatically. This particular command is to install the required node files, which is from this package.json, the React and the Microsoft SharePoint dependencies, paper base, everything. As we the reason we run it in the background, so we until that execution completes, we couldn't open this shell project. So that's why we run it in the background, and we are just doing all these steps. So we get all these errors because the node modules are still installing. Once it's installed, all these errors will go away. Okay, let it run in the background. I will open another solution which I have already created by using the same hello world, but I haven't made any changes over here. You can file the same structure. Node modules is already installed. Now now let's now we are in this this is our main web part TypeScript file. So we have a separate component over here to pass the component from this file to this component. We just need to pass it through the properties. So I'm gonna create a separate property for the context. Paper context. Okay, now we get this error because this is not an optional one. So we must need to pass the value for this one while create the element using the component. So let's clear this. Yeah, here we go. We got our context over here. So now we have, so this is a basic webpack which is already which we get in the web when we create the project initially. To run it in our local, again we are just going to run a simple command which is also, so it will be served from your local. Yes, it will be served from your local host. So here we got a web part, hello world. Right. Yeah, hello world. So here we can by default, like all other web part properties, you can edit the properties and you can pass the input to the web part. In SPFX also we do have the same, but with modern UI. So whatever the stuff you change over here, will directly affect in your web part. So now we run the web part from our local host. So how do we connect it with the SharePoint? So let's see how we can connect it with the SharePoint without deploying anything in the SharePoint. So I haven't opened the SharePoint set till now. So we have already paused our context over here. Now I'm just going to display my name. Context dot, yeah. Now I have displayed. The reason we are running this gulps is because whatever the changes that we made here, it will be automatically reflected in that page. So I'm just clicking, pressing Control C. We can see this dot. When I say, we will detect the changes and it will rebuild it again, and it will show the changes for us. Yeah, we got it. See, now we have got user one. SharePoint has built it in such a way that we won't get any exceptions or errors if we use the SharePoint page context properties, because they provide some default values. If you see here, it is not under the SharePoint context, so we get the name as user one. If you want to connect it with the SharePoint, each and every site in SharePoint have a separate workbench, which is specifically to test all these site, all these web paths. So to access that one, you just need to go browse to this URL, workbench.spx. It will be available for each and every site by default. Yeah, this is my test environment. You can see the same hello world web part over here, but still I haven't deployed it in the SharePoint. I haven't moved any files to the SharePoint, but still it appears in my workbench on the SharePoint side. So basically, as it is a workbench, it detects from our local environment. So these theme colors and all automatically detected based on the site's theme color. This particular root sites have this orange color. That's why we get this one. So now to move this, but still it is running from the local environment. If you want to deploy it to the SharePoint and you want to view it in a separate page, still, we need to move it to the app catalog, which I said already. It's like a play store for the SharePoint. So let's see how it goes. To yeah, sorry. This this name. You mean this name, Arutselvan Muthukannu? Yeah, this name is coming by the SharePoint context, which we already have by default. SharePoint SPFX provides. As I'm passing this context to the property to my hello world component, if you see here, I'm just getting it here. It is as I'm passing in properties, this dot properties in this context, we have a page context. We have a lot of properties available in here, like graph client, or in page context, you can get the site URL. What is the site we are in? A lot of stuffs are available here. The user property object will have the current user information like display name, email, login name, all this stuff. This is how we display the name over here. As it, the current username is, yeah, this is the capability of framework. I haven't used any steps. This context is taken from the SharePoint page, and in our SharePoint framework paper we get it in an object model, so we can easily access it and display and do whatever the steps we want. Now let's, if you see, still it is in an workbench and we didn't get it into the SharePoint framework page. Let me create one sample page. Let me create on a modern site page. Yeah. So here. You see, we didn't get. Excuse me, guys. Okay. To create, to package this our SharePoint Framework webpart and put it in our app catalog, we are just going to run another two simple commands as I said earlier. So let's bundle our stuffs by using the gulp bundle ship. The hyphen hyphen ship denotes that we are just going to build it in a release mode. If we see build target ship, yeah. Now the next command is to get the package as a package file which we going to place it in the app catalog. So to do so, we are just going to run this gulp package solution. Here there is a trick. There is a slight trick over here. If you want to run it in from your local, even after adding it into a SharePoint page directly, other than the workbench, if you want to run it in your local, you just need to run this command. If you want to run it, go live and publish it to everyone, you just need to package the solution in the release mode. For now, I'm just running it from the local. So let's run gulp package solution, which will give us here sppkg file. We can find that in the same project file. So that's it, our package is ready. If you go and see here, the SharePoint folder is created. Under the SharePoint folder, we have our package file spfx.sppkg file. Let me open it over here. Here we go. Mhm. Yes, this is the responsibility of Gulf. So it will take all the bundling process. So you can see the once it is bundled, the bundled file will be available in this temp folder. So whenever you bundle, you will be getting this unique id in the hello world webpart underscore some unique gid will be appended. After this command, if we run the gulp package solution, automatically we will get this sppkg file which has the link to this hello world webpart file. Yeah. Web, here we are using gulp over here. We are not using the webpack. Yeah. So let's go to our app catalog now. So this is the app catalog which is yeah, yeah, tenant will have only one app catalog. Microsoft is working to have an app catalog each and every site collection. As I said, it's just like a Play Store. Let's upload our app. Choose the file. Okay, let me take the path. Just click OK. Once you upload your package, you will get a pop-up like this. If you notice here at the selected cursor, you can see that it is the app is going to serve from a local host 4321. That's why I run the command called package solution. If you add hyphen ship and next to the package solution, the behavior is different. So let me make this solution available to all the sites, so I don't need to install separately in each and every site collection. So let's deploy. That's it, our app is deployed. Now we should be able to see that in this page. So as it is client side, we need to refresh. So then the toolpan will get our hello world report. Edit it. Even I think that this expanded view is recent. Yeah, here we go. We got it. Now if I click, we will be end up with the error because it is running from local and I'm not running the cult sub. That's why we didn't get any view over here. So let's execute cult serve command again. Just need to wait for the blue color term reload. So once reload comes, yeah, our webpack is ready. So this is the error we got. Now let's refresh the page. Yeah, we got it. So now we have added our SPFX support in our page. So I'm just clicking save and save this page. Now whatever the changes that we make in here, as I said, why we prefer React over other frameworks in the SharePoint framework development is we have default components available which is already available. So for example, if you see here, the site's theme is some orange color. So the publisher, whatever the primary color is, this one. The button here we see is it is made from the custom CSS because the default human will generate like this because the anchor tag is changed like that. If you see the we do have a button class over here. I'm just showing how simple it is if you use React UI fabric. See, we do have a button and you're writing these much classes to get that UI in this page. Now I'm gonna create another button with just simple command. So this is the import which are going to do. So office UI fabric lib and button, we have a lot of components already available like checkbox or panel or whatever stuffs. So let me comment it. Primary button, just 3 words of command. I just saved it. I didn't do any, just didn't post any classes or styles. I'm just using the existing command. We got the same for you. Just to understand what change that we make, let me change the text so you can understand. Once I made the change, this command prompt will recompile it again and you will get this task. Yeah, go to it now. You see how easy it is. I haven't made any change except using this Office UI fabric component. These are the default components available already in React, which we get by default when we create the project. These are the components already available like button, calendar, whatever the stuffs you get. Uh, you get all the samples in the, yeah, it's not part of that. It's on React. You see it's a React based component. We do have Office Fabric for Angular JS. I'm not sure about Knockout. So if we want, we can contribute to the community and add these same components to replicate for Angular, so the Angular community also grows. That's what we're trying. So the documentation with of Office Fabric clearly states each and every components and how to use it. You can just go to the Office component documents to make use of your requirement. So now we are running it from the local server, and we need the local server help. So the last piece of this webinar is how to host the deploy our web part in Office 365 environment itself. So we don't need any local server, or we don't need any Azure environment, or we don't need any other external servers or CDNs. We're just going to hosting it in SharePoint itself. Again, I'm just going to run this is the command which is used to deploy the our web part directly in the SharePoint environment without help of any CDN or whatever. So let's execute this command. So for safer side, let me clean all the stuff which is already there built for local environment by using the gulp clean command. Yeah, ready. So this is a now we are just again going to bundle it. So as we have already installed some stuffs in SharePoint environment app catalog, let's change the package version so we are not run into any surprises. So I'm just going to update the package version. So here we have it in the package solution.json. Now let's package it. Now let's package the app again. Gulp package solutions ship. That's it. We have the package ready now. Let's go to the app catalog. Yeah, here it is. Now if you see, we got SharePoint Online as the term here in the selected content. Previously we get localhost 4321 as it is served from the local environment. Let's deploy it. Yeah, we have deployed it right now. Now, we are not serving it from our local. Let's see how it works in our page webinar. That's it. We are ready. So we have deployed our SharePoint web framework report in our Office environment without help of any CDN or any Azure servers. So where the files are coming from? The files are coming from our app catalog. We do have a separate list in our app catalog where these files resides. So that list is called, the library is called client side assets. Yeah, here it is. Our ID, the web, there will be a folder created based on our report ID, and our files will be served from this location only. So whenever you put your report in your app catalog, it will be automatically pushed in here. So that's it. Without help of any or any other server, we have successfully deployed our report into SharePoint page. That's it for now. In our next SPFX webinars, we will be seeing how to create the SharePoint Framework extensions and how to utilize its features like application customizer and field customizer and list command set. Thank you, everyone. So, as I said, these these are the three commands that we have used right now to create a web part and to bundle our files and package it using the package solution command. So by using with these three commands, we can just go live with our ShareFX web parts within few minutes. Thank you for your thank you everyone for joining.